I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold. Guys, the opening sequence of this episode was explosive. It was awesome. First of all, I don't know if we can technically even call this an episode of Boba, the Book of Boba Fett, because this was an episode of The Mandalorian 100%. Mando is back and in awesome fashion. He kicked a lot of ass in the opening sequence, but unfortunately, that was really pretty much the only ass he kicked throughout the entire episode. We see another little fight sequence between him and Paz Vizsla later on for the rights of the Darksaber, but for the most part, this episode was a lot of filler. This episode was 51 minutes long, but it could have been condensed so much. This episode was just a lot of extra going on. Like when they're building the ship, that just took so long. Watching him build every nook and cranny of that ship, they could have condensed that scene so much more, guys. I thought it took way too long for him to build that ship. I started to get bored. And then when he visits the armor, it was interesting. We see him training with the Darksaber, and she teaches him how to use it a little bit. She says that he's working against the Darksaber. He's not working with it. And we see that absolutely when he's wielding it in the first sequence, when he burns his own leg using it. So that shows us he needs to actually work with this Darksaber and get it down pat, because that's now his weapon of choice only. He melted down the staff that he had, so now he's just got to rely on that Darksaber 100%. I liked this episode. I thought it was a fun episode. I thought it had a lot of filler though. The action sequences were way better than anything we've seen so far from the Book of Boba Fett. Leaps and bounds better by anything, and I give that credit to Bryce Dallas Howard, the director. She did an excellent job portraying the action sequences. The choreography was so much better in this episode than any previous. I thought they blew it out of the water. I was so into the action sequence. In the first sequence that we get, he kicks so much ass cutting that table in half. Woo! That was bad ass. Such a sick action sequence. But like I said, things start to slow down a little bit and taper off, and it starts to get a little boring at certain scenes. This episode was just kind of like an opening sequence episode for what's to come with Boba Fett. Now Mando's going to be working with Boba Fett moving forward, and that's going to be awesome because we finally get Mando back in awesome Mando fashion. So that's going to be a lot of fun seeing Mando in the Book of Boba Fett series. I give this episode a creme de la out of a creme de la creme rating, or a silver ranking. I love that we get Mando back. The opening sequence was awesome. The action sequence was the best we've seen so far, but it was kind of boring in certain scenes. It kind of dragged on. Things took too long to get going. Certain sequences were just too long. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. I'm really curious to know how you guys think it compares to the previous ones we've had so far. Let me know in the comment section below. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe for more content and reviews. And I'll catch you on the next According to Ash. Stay gold.